Yeah, so I've been good, going good. Actually, it was a great weekend for with the footy and the preseason trials, and I really enjoyed that. Just having that bit of footy on, even though it's only trials at the end of the day, but it's great to have rugby league on again. And yeah, it's great to be back on your channel again and doing this Warriors show. I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to get stuck in chatting the Warriors versus Tigers game preseason, and
Yeah.
all Warriors related content. So yeah, I can't wait to get stuck into it.
Awesome, as and look, we have a bit of a chocker block sort of an episode for you guys here again. This is a show here called Warriors, right? Locked on Warriors. Basically, the premise is that it's just focused solely on the New Zealand Warriors. So I'll look in saying that without further ado, we'll probably get into it. But I've just got one piece of good news before we swing into things. Fanatics, I wouldn't mind if you can please explain what's happened. But Tainei Topiki, right? He's made the squad. Give me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, look, I mean, for me, I was very happy with this news. I've talked really highly. I've been a big fan of him, because I've watched a lot of Tane through the Queensland Cup and Burleigh Bears last year. I'm a massive follower of that team and the Queensland Cup especially, and what he's a very talented player, and he showed actually against the West Tigers in that preseason trial game his real potential and talented, and showed his huge talent as well. So, like, a massive congratulations to Tane on getting into the 30-man NRL squad. Actually, it's a big honour to get picked in the 30-man squad in the NRL. You never take that opportunity for granted. So, massive shout out to him, and I think it's fully deserved. I think he deserves it. I know it's only one game, but for me, he's totally deserved to get picked in the 30-man squad. So a massive shout out to him and congratulations. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how he goes throughout this year, and hopefully he gets an opportunity in first grade at some point this season.
You know what they say, hard work don't lie, right? Hard work does not lie. And there you guys go. And look, for many of you guys are probably wondering just quickly as well, I've got crutches there. That is my sidekick for now. HCB had a bit of a fall. But HCB is getting stronger, and we'll get back on the horse, so to speak. So that's just the way it is for now. Look, Vanessa, can you please kick us underway? So SG Ball, unfortunately, due to weather, what happened to the game?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the SG Ball Cup game versus Manly, which was supposed to be happening last Sunday afternoon in Pukekohe, was cancelled. So it was postponed. New South Wales Rugby League, on their Facebook page, on their social medias, put it out there that unfortunately, due to the weather conditions in New Zealand, this game was postponed. So because of the cyclone that's going on in New Zealand at the moment, they had to call it off. So it's a shame. It's really disappointing. It's gutting, but at the end of the day, the safety, of the players, the teams, it's so important. It's more important than a game of rugby league. So it's a shame that we don't get to see them in action across the weekend, and would have loved to see them in action and do a review of their game. But hopefully, fingers crossed that they can, get back on the field soon and play a game again. So yes, it's disappointing, but it is what it is.
Awesome, thank you for that, Fanatics. So as you guys know, the Warriors had I suppose our first game, preseason game against the Tigers, and I suppose there was a lot of nerves, right? I'm sure you were nervous. I was nervous because ultimately, despite the fact that it's just preseason, you still want things to look like they're progressing, right? You want players to play and show skill. You want the coach and co to be in tandem. Surprisingly enough, the Warriors didn't just win; we actually won well. 48 points to 12. Fanatics, before we get into the player ratings, do you just want to give me a bit of a summary of the game, and then I'll follow suit?
Yeah, so I'll just give a little bit of a review or a little bit of a reaction to how I thought the game was. So, look, in capital letters, I wrote young players and new recruits impressed for me. They impressed massively in this one. The likes of Kamare Martin, Luke Metcalf. Going into this one, my focus was on them to see how they would perform as a combination in the halves, especially being their first game together in the Warriors colours. And they answered the question. They really did. They actually came out there and they played very well throughout the first half, second half, especially Luke Metcalf, who is a young player, which is very talented. He's been highly regarded for many years, and unfortunately, because the Sharks have got so much depth there, and he's not been able to get a starting spot. And I think last year he started particularly well in that New South Wales Cup Newtown Jets side, which got to the grand final. So, yeah, he was the main institute in that team last year. But this being a different level, obviously this is the NRL, and his first game in a preseason trial game, I know it was against the West Tigers, who didn't have their first-grade players. I know people say that, but he played what is in front of him, and he stepped up and he had a massive game, and he wanted to make a statement to the coaching staff that he wants to be selected for round one. So that's what I saw in Luke Metcalf, and very fast player, very speedy. You can tell with that try that he scored, that individual try in that second half. And look, he was great. Kicked well. I thought he led the team across the field very well as well in terms of the attack, especially. And a couple of other standout players as well. I want to give a shout out to Tom Ale. Tom Ale for me was probably the best on ground. I reckon he was the best on ground. Luke Metcalf was great also, but I think Tom Ale especially was the best on ground. And he's been named, I believe he's been named to play this week in the trial against the Melbourne Storm down there in Christchurch the Sunday afternoon. So it's great to see him in the 17 again for the second week in a row, even though it's trials. So, yeah, look, I think Tom Ale especially played very, very well. And we're struggling for depth in the prop position, and I think Tom Ale especially could cover that position very well, whether it's starting or off the bench for me. So Tom Ale especially. And also just a quick note as well, Jacob Laban and Solomon Vasavalangi off the bench as well. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Moale Graham Tafua and Zion Mau as well came off the bench for a bit of impact when Tom Ale came off for a bit of a rest. So yeah, those players really impressed me as well. And yeah, that's pretty much my summary. The defense is great too. I thought the defense is very good as well. Only conceded 12 points, so not a lot of points. And we've got a big test against the Melbourne Storm this week, so that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, look, nice summary. I guess I'll follow with that just by saying I think the Warriors were actually quite clinical. I really thought that the defense, like you mentioned, was very organized. It wasn't a Warrior-esque. It was not a Warriors-esque performance, and I mean that in a complimentary sense. It was a different sort of a Warriors team that we're just not used to. Now, granted, it's preseason. I get it. I know it's the Tigers. I get it. Not a full-strength squad. Albeit, I still think we were still very polished. You mentioned attack, and I thought we were brilliant in attack. You mentioned Luke Metcalf, and I'm sure we'll get to him as well, talking on player ratings. But he was a man on the mission. I thought he was. He wasn't just there to fill a role. He was there to say, Coach, please put me in your team, right? That's what he was saying. I thought statement made. If there was ever a game you wanted to make a statement, this was it. And kudos to Luke Metcalf because I think he made exactly that. Marcelo Montoya, right? He was an absolute juggernaut, a big performance, 3 tries. Zion Mau, you mentioned him as well. I thought he was good. I didn't mind Sifakula as well. Some of his runs there were not too bad.
Yes.
Jacob Laban as well. A lot of the young players coming through the ranks, they were definitely some of the pillars in that game. And obviously, I get it, right? There's a huge emphasis on new talent coming up, blah, blah, blah. We get it. However, just because you have new talent coming up doesn't mean anything. It's what that talent does. And I just think the Warriors, next gen, if you will, they definitely showed it, right? Hats off to Michael Seo as well, who played, and I thought he had a sensational game. But like you said, overall, it was good. Tom Ale, giving him huge praises. Was he the best on ground? In my opinion, debatable. It was between him and Metcalf, but you could not go wrong either way. All right, guys, so we have player ratings here, and this is where we'll be basically giving you guys our thoughts on these players. Granted, some players played for the duration of the game. Some players only played for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It is what it is when you're trying to share the load, so to speak. So, in saying that, without further ado, we'll get straight into it. Fanatics, over to you. Over to Artane 12 Picky. What are your thoughts on him and the way he played?
Yeah, look, I was very happy with the way he played. I thought, this being his first game in the NRL in terms of preseason against the West Tigers, and I think he did a very good job actually. So you can see with those stats here, it was a good performance, individually as well in terms of stats. So look, for me, I probably give Tane Tuapiki a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I thought he was very good.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. If you see some of the stats there, again, guys, if you need a bit of a key, if you will. So RM is run meters, TB is tackle break, 7 tackles plus one missed tackle, 1 tackle, 1 error, right? That's just the general cusp of it. I agree with you. About 7 out of 10. Again, 7 out of 10 is actually a good rating considering. So again, hats off to him. Next, we have Mr. Montoya, Chili Montoya, as I think he is anyway. What are your thoughts on him? Give us your rating.
Oh, Marcelo Montoya was on fire. He was outstanding. He came into this game and he wanted to say, "Look, I'm here to keep my spot on in this team." Yes, we've got a lot of players, and he's probably got a lot of competition in terms of the spot. But Marcelo Montoya is a very underrated player. He's a player. Look, last season for me, I thought Marcelo Montoya was very good for us, especially in the previous season. When he came to the club, I think I had my doubts on the signing at the start, but I have really warmed to him over the past couple of years, and I think Marcelo Montoya, especially scoring 3 tries. I know it's his reserve West Tigers team and that, but it's still a good performance nonetheless. And he for me is a lock in. He's a lock in. I'm going to say it now. He's a lock into the side. You've got to select him round one. You can't leave Marcelo Montoya out of this team. He can play wing. He can play centre. I mean, even wing. I mean, you might be able to put him there. I mean, I think he can fit anywhere in the side at the moment. So, look, for me, Marcelo Montoya, I'm going to give him a 8. No, actually, no, a 9. I'm going to go a 9 because he's 3 tries. So he scored 3 tries and 161 running meters here, 7 tackle breaks. Yeah, I'll give him a 9.
Yeah, look, for me, I think I'll give him a 7.5, 7.5-ish. Look and saying that, great awareness of ball in hand, obviously scored 3 meat pies, absolutely ran over the heck of absolutely demolished Charlie Staines, right? Literally demolished that guy, sent him all the way back to Australia, basically. That's how strong and hard he ran at him. Yeah, I think, 7.5. He was brilliant, and he's a lock-in, definitely, for sure. This guy here was a very surprising package, in my opinion. A lot of us probably aren't too familiar with Braden Williami, and if you are, you'll notice that he's be a bit of a journeyman, right? Used to play for Manly, then did stuff in the Super League, Catalan Dragons as well. The Dragons, sorry. And, the Warriors had given him a lifeline, so to speak. And it was very interesting, very perplexing sort of a selection. However, when you sort of look at it now, granted, I know it's just preseason, but it's paying dividends. What are your thoughts on him overall? Rating.
Yeah, actually, he did really surprise me a lot, actually, in terms of this game. I thought, look, he came into this game with an opportunity to stake his claim, and I don't know if he'll be selected round 1. Personally, probably not, but he did play very well, and he's actually kept the spot this week. So that must say something with the coaching staff, that they must have been pleased with what Braden Williami did on the field against the Tigers last week. So overall, I thought it was really solid. He did combine very well with the likes of Marcelo Montoya and Williami Valia on that side. So I'll give actually I'll give Braden Williami a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, I thought it was very solid.
Yeah, look, I'll say he was very, very surprising. And just quickly as well, hello and welcome to everyone there. Hello, BKR Sports. Welcome. It's good that you're here, man. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Brandon Williams, right here, 3 try assists, and obviously, ironically, it's parallel with Marcelo Montoya's 3 tries. That's what you want a center to do. You want a center to feed the ball to the winger to score tries. The winger looks pretty. The center does all the hard work. 4 line break assists wasn't bad. 11 tackles, no misses, 0 errors. I think for mine, I'm going to have to give him a 7.5 personally out of our 10 there. Next player here, we had Williami Valia, a bit of a good game, up and down-ish. I think I'll let you give the rating here, Fanatics, and I'll just jump straight to Edward Costi.
Yeah, okay. So Williami Valia, 2 tries, 148 running meters, 3 tackle breaks there. So, yeah, look, I thought he was good. I mean, I wouldn't say he was outstanding, but I thought he was good enough from what he produced on the field on the day. So, look, overall, I probably will give him a 7 7.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah, for Viliami actually. Yeah, I think he was good in patches. You know, he's scored 2 tries there, 148 running meters. But overall, I think look, he was good, but he wasn't outstanding. So yeah, I mean, he still did his job very well on the field.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I think for mine, I'll give him a 7.5. Now, I'll just do Edward Gossi, and then we'll go to Luke Metcalf next Fanatics. So, Edward Gossi for mine, he had one of those games, I suppose. It wasn't the best game. We know he's a lot better than that. That's for sure. I'm not even going to cap that. Legit, he is actually a lot better than this. 96 running meters, 3 tackle breaks, and unfortunately 2 errors there for Edward Gossi. It probably wasn't his night, but in saying that, considering I know what he can do, it was probably not the best night, right? But in saying that, if I was to give him a rating, I think I'll probably give him an honest 4.5 out of 10, in my honest opinion. All right, Fanatics. So we've got this one here, the talk of the town, if you will, the center of attraction. We've got Luke Metcalf here, a man on the mission. Give me your thoughts on him and give us the rating.
Okay, so Luke Metcalf, look, I mean, I said it early on in the show that Luke Metcalf was a standout. I think for me, he gets a 9 out of 10. You know, I can't go past a 9 out of 10 for Luke Metcalf. Just, came out there with a point to prove that he want to be in the side more regularly this year, and I'm not too sure whether he will be selected in round 1. It's debatable. We don't know what's going to happen there, but overall, look, in terms of this game, he played very well. It was just outstanding. Led the team very well in the halves there, his kicking game, as well as the attack as well. So for me, he gets a 9 out of 10.
Yep, no, well said. Like I said, I touched on before. I don't want to go too much into it again, but a man on the mission, he delivered, right? It is what it is, and I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 personally myself. There was a comment there from Trell Mitt who asking me about the crutches there. Look, and saying that it just had a bit of a fall, but it's okay. I'll get back into it. Sorry, guys. Continuing on with Timade Martin. This was a bit of an interesting one here. Fanatics, give me your thoughts on Timade Martin and rating.
So look, for his first game in the Warriors colours, I thought he played well. I do think he played well, but in terms of who was the better half, obviously it's Luke Metcalf. He was the better half for me, but I think he combined it very well with Luke. Tamari Martin combined well with Luke Metcalf, especially in this game. And for me, I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Look, I agree with you. It was also, I think, reportedly revealed that Timade Martin and Luke Metcalf actually did swap. So Metcalf was playing the halfback role, if you will, and then Timade Martin was low-key playing that 5'8" role. So in saying that, though, yeah, I agree with you. Same rating there. As we move along now to Bunty R4, I'll do this rating here. It wasn't a bad game. It was actually good. I think Bunty was a captain too, so it was actually really good to see. Big fan of Bunty from the back fence as well. In saying that, though, I think I'll give him a rating of probably about a 6.5 out of 10 or 7, right? When you see this 26 tackles there with no misses, 0 errors, it does work towards the player there. And I thought did all right, considering the time he had and stuff like that. It was one of those good Bunty games we all love, a lot of hard running, hard defense from the back fence, and no errors as well. You love it. So, yeah, for me, 7 out of 10 there. Thoughts on Freddie Lustick, Fanatics?
Freddie Lustick, so 38 run meters is not a lot, but he did very well defensively with 32 tackles there, so that's great work defensively. Look, to me, he didn't really do, I wouldn't say he was outstanding, Freddie Lustick. He is going to be a backup hooker, there's no doubt about it. I think he's going to be second choice to Wade Egan. Personally, that's 100% guaranteed. So, I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good night, but also a bit of a rough one as well when you consider some of the missed tackles too. One that also led to a try, but it's not his fault. I thought the forwards there should have supported him a lot better when Otoi Kamanu literally built like a bloody freight train is running at you. All right, so I'll do Tom Ali's rating. I thought, like you said, he was either the best on ground or the second best on ground, right? That's the way I thought of it. 180 run meters, 42 post contact, 6 tackle breaks. He was a monster. He was a man on the mission, a man who obviously has a lot of missed games, right, under his belt. And I don't mean that in a bad way either, just due to injury, due to not being selected, due to form, whatever it is. He was out there to have a point to prove, and I think he did well. In my opinion, 8.5 out of 10. Fanatics, over to you now. Jackson Ford, what were your thoughts on Jackson Ford? And just quickly as well, I will get to the comments, guys. We are also going to be doing a preview of the Storm game as well. So all those questions about selection and stuff, we'll definitely hit it when we get there. So again, apologies if I'm not posting out or reading out those comments. So Jackson Ford, man.
Yeah, okay. So Jackson Ford, I thought, look, I probably am not the biggest fans of the signings personally, but look, in this game, I thought he was right. Actually, it was pretty solid. He did score a try as well, a very good try on that. It was pretty simple actually. The Tigers' defense is awful, to be honest. But look, I will give him a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was solid.
Yeah, look, I'm a big fan of Jackson Ford. I expect a lot of big things from him. He was one of the guys that I think is actually, in my opinion, going to have a solid big year for the Warriors. So let's go. All right. So the next one here, I'll do it. We have Dimitri Sipakula.
Yep.
He, in my opinion, had a pretty solid game. 107 run meters, 3 tackle breaks, 25 tackles, 4 missed tackles, 1 error. I thought he was actually outstanding, particularly in regards to the ball in hand stuff. He wasn't scared defensively. He muscled up. And he was definitely all heart, in my opinion. I give him a rating of 7 out of 10. All right, so Fanatics, next player here, Michael Seal. Give me your thoughts on him, and I'll just go from there.
Yeah, so Michael Seal is kind of a journeyman, if you think about it, because he's been around clubs. He's been to England. Yep. He's also played in the Queensland Cup as well. I believe he was with the Northern Devils as well, so the Q Cup side there. So, yeah, look, he's back at the Warriors now. He was originally at the Warriors. He's been in the under-20s, was with that team when they made the grand finals to Penrith a couple of years ago. So Michael Seo, those of you who don't know who he is, I'm sure a lot of people would know Michael Seo, but yeah, it's great to see him back in the Warriors colours again. And yeah, look, I thought he did a very good job. Actually, I thought he was, just got about his work very well. And look, for me, I will give Michael Seo a 6 out of 10, actually. I thought he was good for, very solid for what he did in terms of his work.
Yeah, look, I'm going to agree there with you as well. I'm going to agree. So I've got Zan Mauku. And for those of you who don't know, he's, I believe he's with, I'm not sure if he's contracted per se, like in the top 30, but he's somebody who's definitely been in the Warriors ranks for quite some time. Look, I'll be honest with you. I don't know too much about this guy, but I definitely did after this game. That's for damn sure. That dude with his first carry with the ball, when he took about 2 or 3 defenders and he was charging through and he just kept on breaking tackles, I thought that was ultimate. Loved it. Loved what I saw. A lot of potential, all right? And I mean that in the utmost complimentary way. This guy here for mine is going to be the next, I want to say it, but I think he's actually got a big future ahead of him, in my opinion, Zan Mauku. And he just has some leadership quality, but there's just something about him that screams leadership. I don't know what it is. I just see it in him. There's something that's leadership quality in him. Again, a small sample size to work with, though, granted. I don't think he played too many minutes, but it's saying that, in my opinion, I want to give him a personal rating of a 7.5 out of 10, I think, anyway. Oh. All right, so over to you, Fanatics. So, Sanele Augustino, give me your thoughts on him and his rating.
Yeah, so I believe he came off the bench. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I think he came off the bench, if I'm right there. So, yeah, look, I mean, I think some of these younger players that came off the bench, likes of the Jacob Labens and that, and I thought was pretty good. Yeah, I think for the minutes he got, especially in this one. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Ali Leatawa. I didn't mind him personally. He was okay. Again, a small sample size, and that's the thing, and that's right, exactly. Yeah. A lot of the players that came up from the bench, particularly in the reserve bench, right? These are interchange, and then you have the reserve. So when you have the reserve, that's when you're definitely thinning out stock there, just trying to get them into play some type of game for 5-10 minutes. And I think you'll find that for a lot of these ratings. But anyway, Ali Leatawa, I thought he wasn't too bad in my opinion. I'm going to say I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I thought defensively he wasn't too bad. A few good tackle breaks as well. Good one-on-one tackle there as well at one stage. I'll give him that rating there. Jacob Laban, Fanatics, over to you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he's a very big, tall lad, Jacob Laban, coming off the bench. Actually, I got to say I was impressed. I was impressed by him actually. Really impressed for a young player that's come off the bench. You know, not as many minutes. You know, it's really hard to judge a player when they don't get as many minutes, but they're coming off the bench. And I thought his impact, I think his impact was pretty good, actually. He played very well coming off the bench. So, for me, Jacob Laban, I'm actually going to give him a 7.
Yep.
I'm going to give him a 7, actually. A 7 out of 10. I mean, and look at the defensive work there. 33 tackles. And he also made 3 tackle breaks. So, no errors as well. That's the most key thing when I look at a player, is not that they don't make many errors or no errors at all. So very good for a player that just came off the bench and probably didn't get a lot of minutes, but did enough for what he showed.
It's good to see. I don't get my hopes up, but I'll just say this is cliche, but the future is looking bright. Get those sunglasses there, Fanatics. All right, so we have Marla Graham Dolfer, and I'll do this one here. He had one sneaky meat pie there, a try there. Okay. I thought he wasn't too bad. Again, one of those players who came in had really minimal minutes there, so you can't really, I suppose, say too much there. But all this try there, I didn't mind it. You know, 1 tackle break, 1 line break, 2 tackles, 1 miss, 0 errors. You know, I think in context to that, I think I'll give him a 7, a 6.5. We have the next player here, Galani Going. Fanatics, what are your thoughts on this player?
Oh, well, I don't really have a lot to say, to be honest. I mean, obviously the minutes with him not being a lot, and 66 running meters, 7 tackles, I believe, and only 0 errors. So, yeah, look, I mean, I wouldn't say he was terrible at all in this game. I mean, it's a hard one to judge, given, you know, these players, they come off the bench and only have a limited amount of minutes to show their impressions. But I'll give him a 6. Yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. But hard to judge.
No worries. And we had Aiden Eklund as well. He's the son of, I'm not sure I forgot the guy's name, but John Eklund. John, and he works around the Auckland Rugby League. Long story short, Aiden Eklund, a bit of a journeyman himself in his young years. I think he played a little bit over in Manly, not for Manly, but I think he played in their reserves and stuff like that. He had 1 try assist. That was that big loop out ball there to Graham Dolfer, who scored that try there. 1 line break assist, 1 tackle, 109 kick meters, and 0 errors. Look, again, for I think he played about 13 minutes. You know, it wasn't too bad a performance. If anything, you wanted to see more. And he definitely showed a little bit of promise and a glimpse of it. I'm going to have to give him a rating of 5.5. No, actually, scrap that. 6.5 out of 10. Next player here was Ben Farr. Fanatics, over to you. Did you know ratings?
Again, another tough one to judge, given his minutes. I probably won't say too much about this one. I'm just going to give him a 5. 5 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
No worries. I thought Ben Farr wasn't too bad. There was a stage that we had a ball. He ran with the ball. I think he had 1 tackle break and could have busted the line there as well, but unfortunately just got tackled last minute too. Showed a little bit of a glimpse of promise. I believe he's a Queensland player as well. Played his trade over in Queensland. One of the teams there. Apologies, I forgot, but wasn't too bad there. Isaiah Wagner, this is a name that's synonymous for Warriors. We all know, right? Takes us back to the old school days, if you will. 42 running meters, 22 post-contact meters, 1 tackle break, 7 tackles, 0 misses, 0 errors. I thought that's probably a clean game. As clean as you can get, considering, again, time, not that much there. But, hey, it is what it is. All right, so we have Solomon Vasubulangi, right? So, Fanatics, over to you. And just remember as well, he scored that cheeky little meat pie try at the end there of the game. So, what are your thoughts on him in his performance?
Yeah, look, I think he was great. I think he brought plenty, come off the bench, especially for the minutes he got. So, yeah, scoring 1 try, 60 run meters, 3 tackle breaks, 1 line break, even no error as well, 13 tackles, pretty good there defensively as well. So, yeah, I did rate what he did off the bench, especially, and I'm going to give him a 7. It's a bit of a high rating, but I'll give him a 7 out of 10.
Awesome. I thought he did well. And good on him to get a try there. Paul Roach, brother to Nathaniel Roach, younger brother that is. He played a very small game. I can barely even assess it. But 12 run meters, 10 tackles, 2 missed tackles, 0 errors. I think I have to give him a 5 out of 10 there. Again, not too much to say there. But I'll say this, though. It was actually good to see Nathaniel Roach's brother play. You just hope that if he plays or makes the team at one stage, he has a fruitful career, as opposed to his brother, unfortunately, due to injuries. Nathaniel Roach, in my opinion, was so much potential, so much promise. But unfortunately, when the body sometimes has its way with you, there's not much you can do, right? And that's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Okay, so now we're jumping onto this one here. This here, ladies and gentlemen, is the New Zealand Warriors versus Melbourne Storm preview. I believe this game is being played. What is it being played in Christchurch? Am I wrong here?
Yes, Christchurch, Orange Ferry Stadium, Christchurch. So that's the home of the Crusaders rugby team.
Ooh. All right. So look, give me your thoughts, man, on this preview here, and then we'll get to the squads as well. What are your thoughts on this game here, particularly when you think about the fact that the Warriors have selected, actually we'll get straight into it, particularly the fact that the Warriors have selected probably close to their first grade squad, right?
Yep.
Give me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so for me, in regards to the squad, I mean, it's probably comes as no shock and surprise with the man of first grade has been named this weekend, especially with this being our last hit out before the season gets underway against the Newcastle Knights on the Friday there. So, yeah, look, overall, I think there's some interesting selections. There are some interesting selections, I will say. I mean, some players that I probably didn't expect to be selected this week that they were playing last week, and they were selected, they retained their spots. The likes of Braden Williami as well, who I think probably deserves it, actually, because he showed it in that game against the Tigers last week. So, number 1 is Adam Pompey in the centres. I mean, Williami Valia, I didn't think he played that badly last week. I don't think he played badly last week in that game. It's an interesting one. Is this a sign that Adam Pompey is going to be the player selected for round 1 against the Knights, or is he just been given an opportunity for a crack to see how he goes? So, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's a very, very. I'm personally going to say this. I'm personally not really a big fan of Adam Pompey. I mean, he's given a few chances. He's been given a lot of chances in first grade for the past couple of years. So. Look, I hope he comes out and improves me wrong. I really do. I hope he comes out and improves me wrong, has a big game. But, look, I am a big Williami Valia fan. I'm a massive Williami Valia fan. So I'll probably still have Williami Valia in the starting side, starting in the centres for me. But overall, if you look at the squad, look, I think players, I can't wait to watch lots of Mitchell Barnett there, the first game, and the likes of Maratini Kore in the second row also, and Chance Nickel-Klugstad at fullback. I'm very excited to see Chance Nickel-Klugstad in the fullback spot and his first game in the Warriors colours. And Dylan Walker as well. That's going to be interesting to see what happens there. There's a lot of talk around him being the utility player moving forward. So that's going to be interesting. Josh Curran on the bench. Now that's a bit of a surprise. I probably would have started Josh Curran, but that would be me. I mean, I'm not the coach. I'm not the selectors, but yeah, I mean, overall, if you look at that squad, it's a very strong side that we've named. I'm pretty happy with the squad that we've named for this preseason trial, and I think possibly this is the closest we'll come to the team that may be selected in round 1 against the Knights. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how these players go in that final head out of the season against Melbourne. Melbourne's named a very strong side as well, so they haven't got a weak side either, so it's going to be a big test for us on the Sunday afternoon at Christchurch. It's going to be a test to see where we're at moving into the season ahead.
Yeah, look, wonderfully said. I will also just probably, tease the viewers just a little bit just regarding Orange Stadium and Christchurch and my thoughts on possibly in another video talking about another NRL team there. team, possibly. Anyway, I'll just leave that dangling in the air there for now. So, look, in saying that, I think you're right. I think Adam Pompey, the Adam Pompey selection for mine, I think is just a bit of a tester to see who the coach goes with. In all seriousness, though, he could probably just leave him out and go with someone else completely. I'm not too sure. Look, despite feelings and all that stuff, I think that's probably the way I'm going to look at it. I will say, though, in saying that, you mentioned first grade side. This is probably as close to the first grade side as we're going to get.
Sure.
I need to also emphasize as well, Mitch Barnett playing New got it, Marata New got it as well, right? Particularly Mitch Barnett playing at prop. This is a very foreign position to him because he's normally a second rower. So again, how does Mitch Barnett navigate his way? How does he work in tandem with R4? Is he going to be a big bopper? Is he going to be a big ball runner? Like all these questions I have in my head, and the only way I want to get it answered is literally game day Sunday. Now again, we'll go into the second rows. You mentioned Ford, Jackson Ford over King Curran. Now everyone knows I love King Curran. All right, let's just make that clear. King Curran is, I'm his biggest fan. All right, but in saying that, I can see what the coach is going with. Now, do I believe that King Curran will be in the bench come round one? Not at all. However, in saying that, with Jackson Ford, particularly in his last game against the Tigers, I actually thought he wasn't too bad, in my opinion. I've spoken him highly. I really see him having a breakout year with the Warriors, and I know some people look back and be like, yeah, whatever. But I really do think he'll be that one. He'll be that golden gem, if you will. He's that gem piece, the dark horse. And I like the fact that Curran is coming off the bench there. Those two can work in tandem. Though I'll say King Curran, I'd rather him be at lock, personally. I'm not a fan of Toy Harris being at lock. I'm not. I'm just gonna say that. Controversial take. Give me your thoughts. Also on top of that as well, the bench. I believe it's Tom Ale, R4, Walker. Dylan Walker. Seeing him come and play. Where's he going to play? He's a utility, so is he going to be playing center? Does he take over? Does he take over Pompey at one stage? You know what I mean? Like those questions are coming to mind. Sean Johnson, right? Regardless of whether you like it or not, Sean Johnson is going to be the main attraction of this team. Why? Because of Luke Metcalf. It's as simple as that. Sean Johnson, I can't speak for anyone else, right? But I'll just say it from my own opinion. I think he's a man who's under pressure, a lot of pressure. Luke Metcalf basically came in and said, that's my number 7 jersey. I'm sorry. Regardless of trial or not, that's what he said. There's a big task ahead of Sean Johnson. And I think Andrew Webster's a coach that's not afraid to pull the trigger, if you will, when it comes to selecting squads and players. And Sean Johnson needs to virtually have a game where he says he is the one, he is him. He is Himothy, if you will. He's the dude to pick. Because I'm telling you now, if Sean Johnson doesn't have that game, don't be surprised if you see a Metcalf selected ahead of him. I'm just going to say that. I know it's a big call, but don't be too surprised there. And I'll just wrap up the squad as well before we get into some of the key questions and whatnot. I'll tell you what, it's really important that the Warriors show what they've been working on in preseason. It really is. All right. This is preseason, but this is quite literally the last game before it really matters against the Knights over there in Wellington, round 1. All right. And I'm not here to be A-OK of a blasé performance. Not really. I'm not. Okay. I don't want to see us get thrashed. If anything, I want it to be a close game, a game we win, possibly. A lot of questions. Anyway, sorry guys for that little random tangent there. Quickly, your thoughts on the spine. So we got Nicole Klugstad, right? And in the halves, we got Tamari Martin, Sean Johnson, and then we have Wade Egan there. What are your thoughts as I go through the comments again? Apologies, people.
Yes, so this will be the first time that they play as a spine. So what I'm looking out for is how the combination goes, especially now. Look, I'm not gonna say it's going to be a perfect, first game as a spine together, because that's not how it works. It takes time. It takes more than this half the season to get going. But I want to see how the likes of Sean Johnson and Tamari Martin combine, especially now. Tamari Martin and Luke Metcalf combine very well. So what's Johnson going to do? Obviously, like you said it there, Sean Johnson's under pressure this year. I do agree with you on that one, personally. I think he needs to have a good first couple of weeks. Otherwise, his spot could be under a microscope. Because we've got Luke Metcalf in the background as well. So That's what I'm looking out for. Wade Egan as well. I got massive raps on Wade Egan. Big fan of him as a hooker. Lots of people don't rate him highly, but I do. I think he's a very good young hooker. And Chancellor Clockstart as well. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see how he combines with the likes of Johnson, Martin, and Wade Egan. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking out for in terms of the spine and how they combined on the field.
Yeah, no, that's well said. Obviously, I'll add to that as well. The kicking game is going to be very important as well, particularly with Sean Johnson. I'm hearing that he's improved his kicking game. I'm hearing that Tamari Martin is also learning off him as well. So you're expecting a very confident display, if you will, particularly from our two halves there. Wade Egan's always going to be Wade Egan. He's going to give you, the ball service and all that stuff there. The one I'm very keen to watch, though, defensively particularly, is Chance Nicole Klugstad. We all know of a certain player, which I will not name, who played fullback for us last year. Defensively, oh, goodness me. All right, goodness me. However, in saying that, Chance Nicole Klugstad, he has his chance here to try and really show us what he can provide for us and give us being at fullback. He's a veteran. He's been around. He used to play for us. He went, and he's come back again. A lot of experience, an experienced player, a better player, one who probably understands the game a lot more mature. So I'll be looking forward to seeing how he sort of performs. Silly-ish type of question, but in regards to the Warriors, what are you watching out for? Is it going to be our attack, our defense? If you could name to me one key thing you're looking out for the Warriors, what is it?
Yeah, so what I'm looking out for in terms of this game is just pretty much, the players going out there and giving it their all in terms of selection and, giving their best as well. And I think for me, it's pretty much the defensive side of the game, attacking side of the game as well, because last year I believe we were a team that were way down in the stats in terms of attack and offloads and that. So there's something I want to look at too, especially that is the offloads and also the defense as well, especially. I think, you need a very good defense to be a top 8 side this season. So that's very important. That's the main thing out of the team is defensively and attack also. So, yeah, that's something I'm looking out for this weekend.
Yep, no, I agree with you. Defense. I think is my thing. I also want to see a bit of cohesion. I want to see a lot of structure and flow, particularly with the players, particularly with ball in hand. I don't want to see any silly stuff, especially with some of the forwards who get tired and then they start throwing the ball willy-nilly when they don't have to, and then the ball gets knocked on and blah, blah, blah. We know how it goes, right? It's a very standard procedure when the Warriors play sometimes. But in saying that, I'm really hoping for a bit of a difference. I'm feeling very optimistic. I shouldn't say that, but I have, and I'm sorry. All right. Predictions, bro. I know you did your video, so again, just quickly as well, guys, please go and check out Warriors and Fanatics video and subscribe to them as well. There's a little thing here that's been floating. See, follow and subscribe the whole time. It's all about Fanatics. So please give him a follow, give him a subscribe, comment and stuff, engage. He's a great, fruitful, healthy content creator, particularly in the Warriors lens. Someone I enjoy watching. So please do that. Do me a favor. Let's help a brother out, right? Help a brother out. The HBO, help a brother out. There we go. HBO, help a brother out. All right, cool. So predictions, man. Give me yours, and then we'll go straight into the hard-hitting questions. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I like you said there, I did a preview on my channel. So I went with Warriors by 8 points. Warriors by 8. Now, look, personally, it's not really about the result at the end of the day. Like I've said it many times before, when it comes to trials, I don't look at the result as the importance. The importance is for me is the players getting minutes. We don't get a lot of injuries. We've seen so far this season there's quite a few players already getting injured, which is, it's the nature of the game, but it's also gutting disappointing to see players get injured during preseason because you want to see all those players out there on the field in the NRL. So, yeah, look, I mean, for me, obviously, no injuries. Fingers crossed for that. And players and combinations gelling. And I'm going to predict the Warriors win by 8 against Melbourne. I think it'll be a very tightish game.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. Right? Trial, win or loss, I suppose it doesn't matter. But I think it does, in my opinion. I think it does. I probably shouldn't say that, but really, particularly when you have your first string squad And again, we don't know how many minutes they're going to play. You don't know how many minutes Toy Harris is going to play, and if we're not Black, they could play 15 minutes for all you know, right? And then you have Volkman jumping in and Sifa Kula, right? So on and so forth. Marata Newcore, who knows how many, like you just don't know. But in saying that, I really am hoping for a win. My prediction here, I think the Warriors win, and I think we win by 2. I think it's going to be a tight, gritty game, but I think we do enough. Yeah, I think we win by 2, in my opinion. All right. Here we go, a segment here called the hard-hitting cues. But before I get into it, I'm just going to probably just jot through some of the comments here. Yep. Okay, cool. So hard-hitting questions, all right? So here we go. Hypothetical, well, yeah. This is a tough one. Okay, if Sean Johnson, in my opinion, the greatest SJ to ever play for the New Zealand Warriors, in my opinion, is Sean Johnson, in my opinion, respectfully, to Stacey Jones. If he doesn't give us or deliver us a game that we need, particularly against the Storm, does Metcalf start? Do you think Webster is brave enough to be like, nah, that's it, Metcalf start? What are your thoughts? Or do you think he gives him more chance, more leeway? What do you think?
Look, I mean, if Sean Johnson doesn't play well in the preseason trial, he really needs to. He's got to step up and show that. I'm a senior player here. I want to keep the spot inside moving forward. So, it's tough, isn't it? It's a very tough question to answer, especially. Look, personally, I probably still pick Sean Johnson. I know that might sound. I know people might say, "Why would you pick him if he didn't play well in the trial?" Look, I'll still pick him. I'd still pick him in the tomorrow morning halves. I probably would have given him a couple of games in the NRL to see how he goes there. First. Now, if he doesn't perform, then he's probably under pressure to keep a spot, and I think Metcalf will probably take it. So that's just what I believe. I think give him a couple of games there and then, and if he's not performed by the first couple of games of the season, then you've got to put Metcalf in there. You can't keep playing players underperforming. So I think right now, does he start over Sean Johnson? Probably not now at the moment, but if things happen during the season where Sean Johnson's not performing, then it's probably likely.
Okay. There was a question there by Charles Mitt, and again, a good question. Just regards to Volkman, he asked, do you see Volkman leaving? And I'll just answer this one here briefly. No, I don't. When you've got Sean Johnson there, somebody to learn from, to Martin, you Toy Harris, you got, a few of those leaders there. I don't think it's the worst place to be, particularly if you're wanting to learn to hone your craft. And also at the same time as well, Volkman is not too far down the picking order in terms of halves. Like, you got to think about it. If Sean Johnson hypothetically has an injury and Tamaita Martin's not looking too flash, touch wood, then Volkman virtually fits in alongside Metcalf. Like, he's not that far down the picking order, you know what I mean? Like, it's, Volkman as well, remember, debuted for us as well. No, I don't see him leaving at all. I actually see him being integral to the team going forward, particularly being young as well. All right, so another question as well, Fanatics. I'm a bit worried about our conversions still. Now, granted, Metcalf, not to say there was a lot of pressure on him against the Tigers, but there was just some kicks there where you're like, oh, no, not again. Right, those close games, those close kicks. Granted, had he got just one... Had Metcalf just got one of those other conversions in, we beat the Tigers by 50 points. We win by, it's 50. We reached the half century. I'm still worried. Am I right to be worried? What are your thoughts?
Look, I mean, you do have a point. I think you do have a point. Kicking is so important in the NRL in terms of the season as well, especially when you look at points for and against in terms of the ladder at the end of the year and where you finish, whether you make the finals or whether you just miss out. So those kicks can be very important, especially in a round game, in a season game, especially. So, yeah, I do understand your point, but in saying that, it is a trial. It is a trial game, and I'm sure they'll practice a lot in training and try and get fix that up. And yeah, I know it's a very important factor in a game, goal kicking especially. So I think Sean Johnson, and someone said Sean Johnson will be the kicker there, the close stuff there. So I think Sean Johnson will be our kicker. So Sean Johnson's pretty good goal kicker. on his day. So, look, I think if he's starting, he's definitely going to be our goal kicker moving forward. So, yeah, I don't think Metcalf will be kicking. I don't think Tamari Martin will be goal kicking. So, yeah, I think Sean Johnson will be our goal kicker this season. If he genuinely does play. So,
Okay. Yeah, look, we'll see what happens. Really, I'm so. What's the word? I'm just waiting patiently, if you will. For when the rubber hits the road, so to speak. Especially when kicks do become very valuable. I really am. Now, just a bit of a general discussion here. Again, there's nothing here at present regarding anything here that we've spoken about. But just regarding, I suppose, the coach, right, Andrew Webster, he came out and he said, "Look, great performance, but who cares? It's just a trial. We're on to next week." A few things to actually learn from is what I'm paraphrasing, but he just said basically, "Oh well, there's still mistakes we're going to learn from." When you have a coach like him talk like that, particularly in that performance there, what are your thoughts? Does this sort of invigorate? Does it bring a bit of a zest, a bit of a hope, if you will, to you as a fan? Do you trust in Webby? I suppose is what I'm trying to say. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, look, I think what he said there is actually perfectly well said. I really like what he said after the game, especially he's like, look, yes, the boys played well. We did a lot of good things on the field, but we've also got a bit of work to do. And this is only a trial. It's only a preseason trial. We can't get worked up about it. We can't get overexcited like that. And I do agree. I think he's absolutely spot on with what he said. So, look, Andrew Webster, what he's saying so far, it's very promising moving forward. Actually, I really am. But I truly do now believe that Andrew Webster can get this team moving forward into the right direction. So yeah, what he said there post game, I was very pleased to hear that he's just like take the focus, away. Yes, it's a trial. We played well, but we've got to move forward, and that's the main thing.
No, well said. I agree. I will say this. We got to remember he comes in as a decorated individual. And when I say that, I mean, he was part of that Panthers coaching staff. So he's somebody who obviously has a lot of experience. He's been there, he's done that, if you will, right? Yep. He didn't have to come and coach us, in all honesty. I'm pretty sure he's probably offered another contract. I don't think Penrith Panthers wanted him to leave. He was in a very cozy position over there in Penrith. When your halfback is Nathan Cleary, when your number 6 is Luai, when your fullback is Dylan Edwards, when your props are James Fisher-Harris, when your locks Isaiah, you're in a very comfortable hammock, if you will, particularly out there in Penrith and the Blue Hills. But for him to actually come down and coach us and take on this massive mammoth of a challenge, I think it speaks a lot to him. And the fact that we're progressing while under him sort of shows, in my opinion anyway, that there's a lot of philosophies and things that he's teaching that are they're just ringing right with the boys. Again, I hope I'm not losing you guys there as I sort of go into this tangent, but there's just a lot of positive things, ways of thinking, making the boys adapt to the way he wants them to play. He's come from very rich, luxurious Penrith club, and it looks like he's really trying to zone it in. As one of the comments there was, he gives paraphrasing, just talking about how he gives us Cleary vibes, and that's right. There's almost a Nathan Cleary-esque sort of a vibe with Webster, and I'm really, really liking it. And I think even more so the fact that he was also part of our. Maybe you don't know. Maybe people out there don't know, but Andrew Webster was actually part of the Warriors team a few years ago, right? So he's very well acquainted with New Zealand and the Warriors. So this is not necessarily a toe dip in the water, if you will. He's experienced, but coming again with, like I said, this magnitude of more experience and gold, if you will, I think it's paid dividends. Now, Fanatics, I've got a question to ask as well in this general chat. There's a few people out there who actually have us finishing bottom 4, and I'll tell you what, it really grinds my gears. It really does. I'm grinding my gears here. So, what are your thoughts? And What do you have to say to those naysayers who are saying that we're going to finish bottom four? You better give them the smackdown. Come on, let's go.
Well, look, I've also been listening to some podcasts. I'm a big fan of watching and listening to rugby league content creators and what they've got to say about the game and that, and they do a great job. And, it's their opinion at the end of the day. But, look, I mean, to say personally that we're going to be bottom four again this year, I think for me is completely wrong. I don't agree. I know we nearly got the spoon last year. I understand that we were 16th. We were very close to getting a spoon. We got a bit of luck that we didn't finish there. And look, I mean, you can't judge it off the past couple of years. Yes, the past couple of years have been horrible. They've been disappointing as a Warriors fan. But look, for me, I think, if you look at the signings this year, we've got new coaching staff moving forward. I know he's unproven yet. He hasn't coached the NRL before. But I think this Warriors team, I'm not going to say that we're going to make a massive climb. I'm not going to say we're going to be grand finalists, top four. I'm not going to go that overboard. I love to see it happen. It'd be great. I hope they do that. I hope they prove me wrong. They do that. But I think for me, it's just looking into the bright side of the club moving forward. We're back in New Zealand. We don't have to go from location to location. That was a massive problem for us for many years due to COVID and unfortunate circumstances there. So we're back in New Zealand. We were able to play games at Mount Smart. The importance is we've got to make Mount Smart a fortress. We've got to make Mount Smart a fortress. We've got to make sure that teams coming to New Zealand, to Mount Smart, find it difficult and don't want to play in New Zealand against the Warriors. So that's the importance as well. And we're just back where we love to be. At home in New Zealand, got the facilities, the training field, Mount Smart Stadium, you name it, the office, everything's there, staff members, you name it, all of it's there. So, there's no reason why this Warriors team can't be a contender for finals this year. I'm going to say a top 8 contender. Biased, I might sound. I don't care. I think we'll make the finals this year, and I think it's going to happen. And look, I mean, I might be going overboard, but I just love my team. I'm just so passionate, and I would love to see this team prove to everyone wrong that this team can turn a corner and make finals this year. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be awesome, and I think it'll be just a way to reward the fans and the club, especially after the tough couple of years. So I personally think that bottom four, I don't think we'll make the bottom four this year. I think we're definitely contender for top 8 this year. So I've already got them. I've already actually predicted on my channel, my YouTube channel, that will be in the top 8. I know I predict them in the top 8 every year, and people will say, "You're crazy. You're ridiculous. What are you thinking? This Warriors in top 8, no chance. Blah blah blah." But I'm actually that optimistic. I don't usually get very optimistic about this team, but I just love what I'm seeing so far. The signs are there that this club can move forward. So that's just what I think could happen this year. I think we can move forward, possibly top 8. I think definitely top 8 in my personal opinion. Who knows? Who knows what could happen this year? But I think Andrew Webster's got the caliber to take this team, in the next couple of years. I really do. I think he'll do a lot better than what the previous coach did.
Well said, Fanatics. Love is in the air. Love is in the air. Look, I agree. To those of you who think we're going to be bottom 4, shut your mouths and know your role. No, I'm kidding. Look, it is what it is. I can see why you have us in the bottom 4. Realistically, I get it. Yep. But I can also see someone like Fanatics as well with that very optimistic viewpoint where he believes we're going to go into the top 8. I don't think you're wrong either way. The reality is what matters, though, is what happens in round 1, so on and so forth. That's just it, because
absolutely,
we all love to have our says and our thoughts and our fantasies and our dreams, but the reality is nothing matters quite like the real McCoy, if you will.
Yes.
So The real McCoy. Yeah. Anyway, look, and saying that, I'm going to read some comments, and then we're actually going to. All right, here we go. Mass Fanatics on fire. There you go. Great. Yeah, good on you for that. Great. That's great. You definitely G'd us up for sure. It was good speech, good yarn. Look, and saying that. Thank you all for watching, Fanatics. I just want to say thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for this chat. And I hope everyone there in the comment section enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you are well, particularly for those, in New Zealand at the moment, particularly in Auckland, who are facing some really turbulent times, particularly with the weather. And I suppose in saying that, even if you're not happy yourself internally, I hope you're happy. And I hope this brought a little smile to you. But if not, please let me know. HCB is always available. The HCB guarantee is that I'm always available. But I look and saying that, Fanatics, please give me some thoughts. What are your thoughts? General yarn, a general goodbye, and then we'll close the show.
Yeah, so again, I'd like to really thank you for having me on this channel. It's really appreciated, and we always enjoy doing the collabs together. We've been doing it for the past couple of years now, so it's great to continue on this sort of path, doing this stuff. And I really enjoy it, Hold the Ball. I really do. I appreciate it. And, you're great content creator. You do a lot of good work in the rugby league community, especially. And, yeah, you're a great host. And, your channel's doing great and you're doing awesome work. So, yeah, massive thanks to you, Hold the Ball, and keep up the great work. And thanks to the viewers for watching tonight as well. Appreciate their comments and contributions in the live chat and watching the show. So massive shout out to them, the viewers, because that's what's really important, the viewers of the show. So yeah, thanks to them for watching, and thanks Hold the Ball Hat for having me on.
Oh, look, you're more than welcome. Thank you again for your time, and thank you for the nice words. And saying that too, please, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to follow NRL Fanatics. Hope you guys enjoyed watching a second episode. Stay tuned for the next one here. I've got a special guest coming in for the next one next week, and I'll be showing you guys who it is very soon. Isn't it? Take it easy. Take care. Be well. Be positive. And I'll see you guys next time. And up the wires. And guess what? Fanatics, guess what? You know how to hold the ball. Go the Warriors.
Up the Warriors.
Up the wires.